Okay, so this is part 2 of creating our self-portrait. I'm going to talk to you guys about the eyes. So I'm going to label it eyes. And there are a couple ways you can manage to get this eye together. You got to think about the fact we have the whites over here, and then we have our color, and then we have our pupil, and then like little specks of light that kind of come off there too. Then we also have our eyelashes, our lid, so we have to worry about all that. How I usually do it, I can take my ellipses tool and just draw it out. Because you have to think, like, even though it's a self-portrait, it doesn't have to be exact. That's where you have the artistic abilities. They're not. Some of you guys are really good at drawing, other ones not so much. So we do think about that. I can look at my anchor points, and I'm going to do Control Plus to look at that. There we go. So that's just like the shape of the eye. I can turn this into a white. Don't necessarily want directly white shades going on there. But whenever I flip it, that's what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to set this back over here for a second. Get my ellipses again. And I can use my eyedropper tool to kind of match the blue a little bit. Obviously, since the opacity is not up to 100, it's not going to match perfect right now. So I can just pick a blue too. Up to you. Or I can also go turn my opacity back up and do that. Okay. And then going to need another ellipse to be our pupil. Make that black. And then I usually take my eyeball shape, like my white eye shape, and copy and paste it. And make it the same color as my skin tone because it kind of helps create that eyelid look. Okay, so this is just a basic eyeball. Like that. I'm going to change that from a 1 to a 2 just to give it that shape there. And then if I really want to add in some little features, I can do a little ellipses and make it white. Since there's some light coming off my eyeballs. There we go. And you can copy Paste that. And that's just going to create some light happening there. I can also paste this in and make it a little bit pink. That's going to create that kind of shape down here for me. I can go over here to my layers and drag that down below so that it kind of hides behind there. Okay, so see, pretty easy so far when it comes to our eyes. And the nice thing is I can put this all together and I can group it. First, though, I want to do some eyelashes. So the eyelash, I usually use my paintbrush tool. And you can do just a normal brush, or I like to come over here just charcoal because it has a little bit more of a hair texture to it. And let's see. Kind of match it over to this brown. And see, look how big the one is. So probably going to be a good idea to size that down. I usually use like a 0.25. And do this. So once I make one, I can copy paste. And I have two that I can copy paste. Make them go the right direction. So there's that for our eyelashes. And then again, I'm going to scroll down, find that ellipses, that's our skin color one, and put it up above so that our eyelashes go below. That way it's not all different sizes happening there where you can see it on the eyeball. Obviously, you guys also need to add some eyelashes down below. You guys can add a lot more eyelashes than what I'm doing, so I'm just kind of showing you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. There we go. Okay, so that's just my basic eyeball. You can also add in some like little red in here to or whatever to create the veins that you see in some people's eyes. Like you can see little red veins there. I could go and add in some coloring there to make it a little bit more in depth. It's totally up to you on how much you want to put in effort to this eye to make it look more realistic or not. So you also need to be able to add in some line work here around this to create the hood there, but I'm going to do that later on whenever I'm doing my finishing touches. So this is one eyeball. I'm going to group it, and then I can go transform, or actually I'm going to copy it first. Copy, paste. transform, reflect. Okay. And why would I reflect that? So that it's the opposite eyeball. Obviously, my eyes are not necessarily the same size. So this one I gotta make a little bit bigger. So that you have one eye that's a little bit larger than the other from this perspective. I can also double click and kind of move this over here. There we go. And there are my eyes. They look a little crazy right now. But it looks better when it's all together. Hold on. Okay. So that's just a basic way to do an eyeball. You can also use your brush tool, your pen tool, anything you want to use to be able to get that done. But that's just your basic eyes.